I would yield a minute or so to the ranking member, Mr. Neal.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lewis, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I must tell you, in 25 years on this committee, I've not heard anybody use the word lying, despite the most vociferous commentary that we've offered about specific issues. And I would hope that we might return to that tradition and custom on this committee. Mr. Chairman, entirely unnecessary to question what has been offered and base it on the supposition that it's a lie.
Well, let me just make a comment, Mr. Neal, and obviously you and I have a great relationship. As I said, the gentleman didn't direct his comments to any member specifically or any person specifically. And may I finish, please? I think there is a degree of frustration on this side of the aisle that the gentleman from Arizona conveyed when not necessarily anybody from this committee, but organizations, people who are affiliated on the left have continued to run TV ads that are misleading at best with respect to people's health care. And I think that frustration has been conveyed not just here, Mr. Neal, but in other parts of this Capitol as well in our districts.
Mr. Chairman, would you yield for a point?
I absolutely will.
All of us have been involved in vigorous campaigns in which we would question the validity of the ads that might have been offered against us. That's very different than sitting in a room here that has an extraordinary historic tradition of the way that we communicate with each other and the terms that we use to describe each other's motives and intentions. That's the choice of words that were used that we would like on this side to not use or to encourage others to refrain from. There's plenty of room for serious discussion, dispute, and disagreement. I think that the position that our side is suggesting is to suggest that we're lying because we find ourselves in disagreement over one of the most fundamental issues in America, and that's the discussion of health care, I think is a very, very different standard that I have not seen utilized in this committee in the time that I've been here.
The gentleman from Georgia controls the time.
Mr. Chairman, is it possible for me to reclaim some of my time?
You can reclaim all of your time. You've got 3 minutes left.
Well, you spoke.
You have a question?
You took some of my time.
The gentleman has 3 minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Just for the record, we paused it while I was speaking, Mr. Lewis.
the members of this committee have a moral obligation and a mandate to fight for each and every American. I fear we have lost our way. Mr. Neal spoke for me and for all of us. A few weeks ago, I sat in this chair for 18 hours, all night. For 18 hours, I bore witness to the action of the Republicans on this committee. I watched as they passed a bill so dangerous, it had to be hidden from the public and guarded by Capitol Police. All through the night, I saw many empty chairs on the Republican side of the aisle. I could not believe what I saw. If the Republican members have stayed for their hearing, I would tell you what they would have seen. Hours after hours, the Democratic members of this committee offered amendment after amendment and compromise after compromise. Every single offer was rejected. Every single one. We did everything we could to protect health care coverage for the American people. We did everything we could to stop 24 million Americans from losing their coverage. Here we are again. These three bills considered today do nothing to reserve the harms of the Republican health bill. They do nothing for the middle class and working families. They do nothing for families struggling to make ends meet. They do nothing for the men, women, and children who rely on Medicaid for their basic health care needs. Mr. Chairman, there is not a family in this country that has not been touched by illness or injury. That is why decent quality health care must be affordable to every American, whether we're rich or poor, old or young, everyone will need medical need one day. So I must ask again, who will stand for the American people? Who will speak up for those who have been left out and left behind? This markup is yet another shame and a disgrace to the American people. We can do better. We must have courage, raw courage. I don't see how your president, how Mr. Trump can go off and be in the company of the Pope and bring these type of bills under your leadership to this committee. I can send this budget. It's cruel and dangerous to the American people. With that, I yield back.
Thank you.